Hello and welcome to Netflix versus Cinema. In coming to you in a week in which some of our worst fears might have been realized. We have been complaining all summer that there's been nothing in the cinema, and now we are seeing the possible outcome of that, with Cineworld saying they might be going to administration. Starting off on a bomb note, my name is Tosin, and I I am your host, based up in the UK in Birmingham somewhere this week. And joining me tonight is just the one, but always here from the Isle of Wight is Sharon Boland. How are you doing, Sharon?
Hello. All right, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a bit of a blow, isn't it? Especially on the island, because we've got one independent cinema that has three very small screens
yeah.
left on the island. But if the Cineworld closes, then that we're back to the indies. I mean, I like going to supporting independent cinemas, but you get used to the comfy seats, don't you, really, quite frankly?
Well, yeah, and also for you, it's going to be a much longer drive. It's going to be like
Yeah.
a half-hour drive to get to the cinema each week or something.
Yeah, instead of a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, I mean that's why you got the house. Well, okay, no,
That's,
not quite. I mean your house,
our
but
house
that's
was
the
here
kind of thing I
before the
would do.
cinema.
That's the kind of thing I would do. But, but but with this, I mean, obviously, this whole summer we have been lamenting, and this is another week in which we have been lamenting, going, "Hang on, there is nothing in the cinema. There's nothing in the cinema," and I don't think I remember a such a lackluster blockbuster season as this. Not that the films have been bad, but that there just haven't been any films.
No, and I think they did say something like Top Gun Maverick is has shot up there in sort of one of the top 10 best-selling profit-making films of the last sort of decade or however long.
Yeah,
So there have been some money makers, but if just one money maker out of in 3 years
yeah,
is not
because
going to recoup people's sort of losses.
well, okay, if I think about it this summer, we've had Top Gun Maverick, we've had two Marvel movies, so we've had Doctor Strange, and we had
Yeah,
Thor: Love and Thunder. Neither of which I think were massive hits. I mean, the last
no,
massive Marvel hit we had was Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was Christmas last year,
yes.
and I guess you had Jurassic World, but no, and
There's been
and I don't.
Elvis has been rumbling away there.
Yeah, Elvis
That
has
again
been rumbling
hasn't been
away.
kicking box office
Yeah,
records, hasn't it?
yeah, but the thing is, Elvis is not a film that I would ever have expected. Elvis is not a film I would ever have expected to be a box office smash. Elvis is the kind of film that you would thought you put it out there and you see who many people go. And I'm surprised and pleased that it's still in cinemas, because I think well, I'm surprised and pleased that Elvis is still in cinemas, because it shows that it's having legs, and I think there's probably quite a bit of word of mouth going on about
Mm.
Elvis. But and I don't know whether it's just like, the nostalgia glasses I have on of going, well, I remember, wasn't there a time where the summer was like a new blockbuster was being released every
Yeah.
week? Or like, you had like a big thing and it was, oh, come see this action movie, oh, come see this comedy, oh, come see this effects laden extravaganza. But this summer there doesn't seem to have been that many things. And Cineworld, even though they haven't gone into administration yet, they have said that they might. They've officially said that they might, and they're thinking about it. It's one of the options on the table, because they have $5 billion worth of debt, and they said that the problem is that the studios haven't been releasing the films for people to watch in cinemas. And sure enough, there has been some stuff that has been released and has been released exclusively on streaming platform of studios' choice. And yeah, and so it does seem like all the stuff that we thought was just sort of like anecdotal of going, oh, where's all the films in the cinema? It looks like it's actually beginning to have real world
Yeah.
consequences, and yeah, well, affecting cinema as we know it. But hey, although it does make me wonder. It does make me wonder. Remember when we during COVID and during lockdown, when we were doing our lockdown shows, and I was talking about the fact that out of this, you could end up with Disney having even more of a monopoly that they do, because they could just buy a cinema chain and they could just sort of like show all the films, and you could have
Yeah.
Disney Plus, but in real life, because they have like Disney Plus cinemas.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder why that hasn't happened. And I'm thinking there must be some sort of union rule or something, or anti-competition law that says that that's not allowed to happen, because I would think that somebody would have done that. It kind of makes sense to me. It's like, instead of giving half your money to the cinema chain, just have it all to yourself.
Yeah. We may
But
see the rise of the indies. They may start sort of popping up again, because I think the chains have dominated the cinema landscape for so long now that
yeah,
they did force all the small independent cinemas out. And now that, as we've seen with some of the high streets, when the big behemoths go, you leave huge gaps on the high street, but then slowly we're beginning to see smaller independent shops creeping back in. So
Yeah,
maybe it might happen with
maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see. Or
more
uh,
tumbleweed down the high street.
no, more time we down the high street. Oh, I still think that there might be a studio that'll just go and buy a
Yes,
cinema chain
maybe.
and say we're just going to release our films here, and therefore. But the problem is that there's going to be a lot of overheads, and it's cheaper for them to. I'm essentially I'm coming fresh onto
Guaranteed
this
income, aren't
recording
they?
from this discussion with my wife, and she was sort of saying, "Well, it's probably cheaper for them to just release stuff on the streaming platform." I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't want to see Avengers Endgame on a streaming platform.
Honestly, no.
You want to see that on a massive screen." I mean, even Jurassic World. I mean, as much as I thought it was meh of a film, you still don't want to be the first place you see dinosaurs to be on your screen on your TV at
We
home.
want to see dinosaurs running across the big screen, like we remember the first time we saw Jurassic Park. Really, we want
Yeah,
that going that wow moment where
yeah,
dinosaurs are brought to life.
yeah. So,
We need those wow moments.
yeah. Sorry, I mean, the Cineworld news is got me in a bit of a melancholic mood. It's gonna be a bit of a melancholic existential mood going.
They said vinyl was dead, didn't they? They said vinyl was dead 20 years ago, and now vinyl is selling more than CDs in some
Yes,
places. So I think there's always going to be a place for people who say, no, you may tell me it's dead, but I'm not going to believe it.
yes, okay, but
And there's
using the
always going to be
vinyl.
a home for cinema.
Yeah, using the vinyl thing, but then yeah, cinema might succeed like that, but then cinema will get more expensive,
Yes, it
and
could.
and cinema will become a collector's thing, and it will become like a niche thing, and and I don't want that
They
because
only
I
show Stanley Kubrick, yeah, the uncut versions of Stanley Kubrick films, in which case it's like maybe a bit too niche. But I see,
yeah
yeah,
yeah
yeah, they're
but
covering my argument.
but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what life gives us. We'll see as things go forward. To see if Cineworld does, because I mean, and the truth is that you could just have like View. You could have View and Odeon in the background, just waiting and hovering, and waiting for Cineworld to collapse, and then they just go, and then like collect all the stuff, like move into the venues and buy all the stuff. But anyway, um, uh. So anyway, let's move on. So